Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video and welcome back more specifically to a Matthews modelling. Right, something a little bit special for you here today. So this is my latest commission piece that I've just finished. This here is a Bachmann Class 20. Now this has been given a very specific appearance and special in terms of this is probably the most extreme weathering job, restoration job, whatever we want to call it, that I've done to date, and I really enjoyed it. And once I got going on it, there was no stopping me. I got it done, pretty quick time. Now this is heavily based on, not an exact replica, but heavily based on the current Class 20 on the East Lancashire Railway. Can't quite remember the number of it, but it looks like this. And the owner of this 20 bought it brand new, had it delivered straight to me, and that Class 20 was the remit. So it is a replica, but it isn't a replica, you know, different number, slightly different livery, but the condition of it was the plan. Now I was hoping to do all this maybe with just powders. I will say, powders, charcoal, things like that. They're my favoured material for weathering, and I was hoping I'd get away with just doing the whole thing indoors, giving it a seal, a satin varnish, and jobs are good. And but it quickly became apparent that wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't going to be enough, and that this needed a little bit more effort put into it than that. So massively faded. Now again, I've faded BR blue paintwork before, just using white powders, or very like pale baby blue powders. I've got a couple of Class 20s which I think I might show in a video themselves at some point, but I've faded the paintwork on those just using powder, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't light enough. It wasn't looking right, it needed more than that. So this is actually a specific mix of a lighter blue paint. Now I didn't want to airbrush the entire thing or paint the entire thing, so it was mixed with acrylics, and this was applied with a sponge and some very small brushes. So it was applied nice and light, that it didn't affect the appearance. It didn't look thick or it didn't look daft, and this was just stippled on the majority of the loco. Now I have used this technique before. I've got a very faded Class 08, which is where I learnt this from and what I use my model as a base, and I'm pleased to say it worked. Like I said, I was pretty nervous doing this job. I double checked with the owner a couple of times, are you sure that this is what we're going to do to a brand new model? And it's what he wanted. So that's what we've done. And yeah, so a really small type of makeup brush, and then pieces of sponge stuck to the end of cocktail sticks, and just slowly going around the model, just working it in. Some areas are thicker than others, so some are more faded, some are lighter, and then you get some areas that are darker. So you can see just on the cab roof there, that outside edge there is probably a little bit darker than further onto the roof, but thankfully it worked. So we did that at first. Once that was faded, I then gave the whole thing a black wash. So I literally just covered it in acrylic black paint, and then water on top, just to run that away, run that down into all the the body lines and crevices as we do. So next thing was to attack these areas of green primer. Now again, like the faded BR blue, mixed its own colour, so copied the colour from the reference photos best I could, mixed up a green, and just applied this in the same areas as the other loco I've just shown you there. So on the nose end, it was very heavy down there, and then along the body grills, just on this one side. Didn't mask it or anything, I just freehanded that, and it stuck to the body grills quite nice in between the doors. And then because it's acrylic paint is really good for removing, so if you let it dry, you can use a cocktail stick and just like scratch that back, and it'll lift really easy. So I just lifted it then along the body doors, just to keep it in that edge. And then it is a little bit random on the nose as per the prototype. So that was done next. Also there, if you can just see across the top of the nose, there is those white markings. Now again, the prototype has that, which again I'm presuming is another kind of different filler, but we've replicated those on there as well. Yeah, which I must admit looked a bit weird, but you know, it's there, so it's done. And then once that was all done, it was time for the weathering. So that was all like the base paintwork. Now with the BR Blue, the roof was heavily rusted and a lot of green on there as well. So again, I went back to my sponge sticks, and I just stippled that rust and that green into the roof. That worked really well. Worked on the roof first, so once all that was done I then weathered the roof, so a bit of black around the fan and the exhaust ports. The grill and the fan, I removed that because that was bright red, brought that out and gave that a rust up as well. The nose ends, so they were also faded, so again I mixed up another yellow that was lighter than the original, and I applied that to both ends of the loco. I'll just spin it around, we'll just check out the other end. So they were made lighter too, and then again they were attached with the weathering, and I kind of mixed everything together on the noses, so put some black in there, put some rust in there, whacked it all on, and then I took the majority of it off. So again, on the prototype on the noses around all the head cord disc, lamp irons, piping and things, there's a lot of greenery stuck in there. So to be honest, a lot of the weathering on the cab ends does look more green than black than what you'd maybe get on you know, on some traditional weathering, but that's how it is. And then we just went to town, you know, adding the more rust patches and adding the more brown areas and things that are all over the body sides. And honestly, like I say, once it hit my stride, I loved it. I was absolutely loving it. Once all the paintwork was done, went back in with the powders, so again all the grills were blackened up, some rust powders were put in here and there, and yeah, the overall appearance of it is, yeah, I couldn't be happier. Really loving it, how it's looked. The chassis was pristine, so I've just rusted up the battery boxes there, and the light's not quite picking it up, but the bogies and things have also been rusted up because they are quite rusty, they are quite brown and heavy on the prototype. And hopefully you'll agree that it's quite a one-off model. I mean, I don't think anyone's modelled that particular loco in its current state up to date, or certainly it's not a model I've seen anywhere. So I'm glad to have you know, done this one. I am all for my unique models and creating one-offs and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully you also enjoy what you see. So I think what we'll do, I'll whack it onto Pumpkin Road, maybe get some shots of it coming out the sidings and into the shed, and then we might let it loose on Common Barn, I think, and we'll just stick it behind a little bit of a work in, maybe a passenger rake, heritage coaches, something like that, just a bit of a lash up, but we'll unleash it and we'll see it running. Anyway, as always, let me know what you think, let me know your comments below. Very happy with it. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.